Speaking of Arsenal, though, big done deal for them today. He goes, Pepe, sorry, their record signing, or he was their record signing, leaves for a free transfer to, I think it's Transport. Always get their name wrong. You know the team I'm talking about.
Terrace.
Yeah, them. He leaves on a free transfer to join them. I've seen some interesting tweets. People like Lee Gunner claiming that he was mistreated by Arteta. The fans have never given him a chance. Some Arsenal fans are saying he should have stayed and been back up this year. Or do you think they're right to get rid of this player that's essentially been a flop?
You know, I keep the same energy, man. When you spend that much money on a player, he needs to succeed, with all due respect. 72 million on Nicolas Pepe. Massive fraud. One of the biggest flops in Premier League history. Correct decision to sell him. Maybe if you kept him as Saka backup, fair enough. But if he was bad, energy in the dressing room, or maybe he didn't follow Arteta's instructions or etc., then fair enough, he leaves. But for me personally, I think with Pepe, it makes sense to sell him. I think he's been a complete flop at Arsenal Football Club. Only time he's played when there was no pressure. No pressure, Pepe was a myth in the COVID season, which City won the league. The last 5 games, this guy just started scoring whole shitload of goals. So yeah, no pressure, Pepe. When the pressure was on, wasn't all that. So that's why he had to leave. And I've got no problem with that. I don't think it affects, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't quite get. I mean, I love Lee Gunner, but what is it he tweeted? I want to get his tweet. I want to find his tweet because he's tweeted.
Can you put it on the screen so people can read it as well? We need to keep it from...
I will put it up here. So the first thing, first one, I can't put the one of them up because it's coach putting a video of him scoring goals in the Premier. I'll get copyright, but it says it shows Nicolas Pepe's season in 2021 where he scored 16 goals and got 6 assists, right? And was second in the Player of the Season award. And he's quote tweeted it with, "Then the manager decided to treat him like a prick." And I'm sort of like, do you know what it is with Lee Gunner on this? Since 2020, 2021, Arsenal have become an exponentially better team. One of the players removed from the team that's helped do that is Pepe. And you're having to go at the manager for like treating him badly. This flies in the face of everything Lee stands for around the manager need to be ruthless and cut people out the team that are taking us back. Yes, this guy, and this is the crazy thing. This is where Lee Gunner has shown his ass crack to the whole world. He's praising goals and assists. Yet if I turned around and said to him, Bruno Fernandes is better than KDB this year because he gets more goals and assists, he'd go, no. What about the eye test? Stats don't mean anything. So when it comes to Pepe, all he's got is stats. But this is from a man that says stats are irrelevant. This is the problem I have with these. It's mad. I don't even like defending.
I promise you, most of his goals came in that end of that year, and I know which one you're. I know you know which one.
It's crazy. Do you know what's crazy though, right? Lee didn't lie though. Lee does lie. Lee 1 minute says stats are irrelevant. The next minute he uses them to attack his manager for removing a flop, who since his removal, as your team has gone to a much higher level. It's crazy, right? But he's not the only one. I don't like defending Arsenal as much as I'm sometimes forced into, but I promised myself I was going to try and be an unbiased host of the Football Terrace. So that was my professional pledge to myself. But they attack him for ostracizing players out of the team who were holding them back and have improved since, right? And they hate on him for praising and playing players who have been brilliant. So they hate the way Saka gets bigged up. They hate the way Odegaard gets bigged up. But yet they defend a player that flopped, that was taking them backwards. And they talk about standards. The hypocrisy stinks like morning breath blended together with dog poo. It's honestly, I do not understand. I do not understand it. Especially, and all these most Arteta outers, they're a little bit like the Ten Hag outers. They're all baller FC. They are all, don't be a stat merchant. But whenever it comes to defending players they love, it's stats they use. Or whenever it comes to putting down a player they hate, it's stats they use. Listen, Pepe, he scored some goals, got some assists, but his overall performances for Arsenal stank the place out. The fact you couldn't sell him tells you everything you need to know. When your club can't sell a player, it's because they're crap. or been crap or fallen off or their bodies, whatever your reason is, but they are not an asset that anybody wants. Imagine nobody in the world thought Pepe was worth 1 pence in a transfer fee. Not one club. Same with my club. Everyone, Martial baller. He was. He ain't anymore. Donny's better than Bruno. Not one club wanted to spend a penny, a cent, a dime, an ounce of their money on these individuals. And you still think your eye test is broken, bruv. Your eye test needs to go to Specsavers. Your eye test is walking around looking like Ray Charles, bruv. Shit's blind. You're wrong. It's crazy. But then what do they do to deflect from their incorrect predictions? They use stats, which they tell everybody else are irrelevant. They say that Rashford's trash and crap and awful. Man bagged 30 goals and 11 assists last year. But Pepe deserves to start over Saka because he got 16 goals. Make it make sense. I'm sorry, I know he ain't here to defend himself, but Lee Gunner, like all of his army of rats, have had an absolute mare on this one. It's hilarious. Listen,
Can you please ask him about Pepe this Monday? Can you please, I expect crazy. A Pepe segment. I'll be so disappointed if we don't get the Pepe segment. We better get the Pepe segment because I need to understand his. Listen, Lee Gunner can hold that because Salah stayed. That's why Lee Gunner can hold that for me. So he's been one of the main people that want Salah to leave, and he stayed.
But this is the thing, right? This is the thing. He says Welbeck is better than Mo Salah, and Mo Salah's goals and assists are irrelevant. But yet Arteta treated Pepe bad, and it was a disgrace that he ostracized him because he scored 16 goals. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Can you please ask him? Can you please ask him this specific question? I would want to see the answer. Lee sometimes is listen. You can catch out Lee two or three times. It is what it is. Lee is very catchable with some of his takes. That's why with me I'm uncatchable. That's why I'm undefeated.
I love Lee, but he had a mare here. He also put out a tweet where he said, Pepe leaves Arsenal. Why didn't the Arsenal family just back him? Absolutely disgusting how he's been treated. This is coming from a man of other things he said about his manager. It's crazy. It's crazy. This here says, Lee hates Arteta, so no matter what, he's wrong. The problem is with Lee is that if Arteta wins something, you'll actually see more hate. Because Lee struggles with saying I got that one wrong. Like he hates it. He'll go, he hates it. And Lee has that. He really doesn't like it.
That's why I told him you have to do a video apology to me if Arsenal win the league.
Hassam have Chelsea agenda because in his childhood days, Hassam has seen Chelsea smack Liverpool every time when they played and win the Premier League and Champions League. We understand your pain, bro.
Actually, that's BS because if you're saying this as a United fan, then this is reality. But if you're saying it as a Chelsea fan,
I think he's a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is if a United fan is telling me they ruined your childhood, that's fair. But a Chelsea fan can't tell me that. We actually had better moments against you than you have against us. We beat you 4-1 at Anfield a couple of times, the ghost goals. We done a whole shitload of things against Chelsea Football Club. So respectfully, you can hold that.
Thank you, Akil.
Fuck your club. I hope Chelsea.
What does only a Turk team want him if he's so? Why does only a Turkish team want him to be so good? But it's also,
that's Terrace point.
But it's like Wilfried Zaha. Like for years, people like Lee raved about how great he was. Only Galatasaray wanted him, and Saudi. No big clubs, no great clubs, because he's not. Again,
and when he asked for too much money, Saudi said bye-bye. So clearly he ain't that good anyway.
I guarantee you, people like Lee would say Zaha's better than Rashford at football. Lee hates... Okay, already done that one. This here says, I told you about Lee Gunner, Terry. He suffers from Dunning-Kruger syndrome. He overestimates his ability and knowledge and exposes himself as a fool.
Damn.
I don't think he overestimates it. I think he has very strong opinions on certain individuals, which may be right. But then what he tries to do is generalize that across all football and go, my logic works in every scenario, where I don't think football is as prescribed as that. You can't... It's like what I say, sometimes managers don't want the truth. Sometimes I think they have to tell white lies. It can't be a blanket of you never lie or you always lie. You can't... I don't even like the word being used as a lie, but you can't operate like that. It's like in life. You're taught not to lie in life. But there are times and moments where you have to. There are times, and I know I can ask you as a religious man, is there any element in say the Quran? I don't know if there is in the Bible. Kaden might be able to answer. Where telling a white lie is acceptable? Is there times where, or it's not a sin because it's protecting somebody's feelings or a child or an emotion? Is there any time where it's acceptable in a religious context? Just out of interest?
In a time of war, or if you're saving someone from something like that, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I get you. So, okay. So like if somebody was about to, if you knew that if somebody walks into that room, if there was a potentially a robbery going to happen in a shop, but you didn't want to tell someone because it involves a friend, they might run down. If you said, "Oh, come into this room, your favorite TV show is coming on," and it wasn't, I'm just making up a weird lie. If that lie stops them from maybe hurting themselves, that's acceptable because you're protecting them, right? And that makes sense. Which is okay. It's a bit of a shit example, but I try
the base rule in Islam is la darar wala dirar, which means it doesn't hurt you or hurt anyone else. That's the basic rule.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And in war, I've watched a movie once that explained that there is a. Now this could be wrong. If I get this wrong, I apologize. But I saw it in a film, so I don't know if it's right. It's essentially, sometimes they've been in sort of some of the Middle Eastern countries and the countries that have been at war where America's been there. Sometimes you'll get people that may be from Iraq or from Afghanistan who will kind of like drink the wrong things and eat the wrong things that are against religion, but they're doing it to kind of infiltrate the army. But there's an acceptable, you can break those rules of the religion if it's to benefit the people of that culture or religion, something along those lines.
The enemy. Yes.
There we go. Cool. I did read that once, or heard that once in a film, and I was like, "Wow, that's actually quite clever." Yeah. So there we go. So everything there's a limit. Yeah, you can't tell 100% the truth all the time. Sometimes you have to break rules. I get it. Staffy, Staffy, how you doing, bro? Hope you're good, my friend. Hope you're well.
It's that Staffy stocks. I took Staffy under my wings, Daddy, man.
He's a good guy. I like Staffy. I like Staffy. Staffy, do you know what I like about Staffy? He's not afraid. He's not afraid to speak his mind, and I like that. Even though I disagree with some of the things he says, I like that he says them. Like, it's important.
Staffy is the Kobe Manu of YouTube. He's coming through.
I like it. Paul had as many titles as the Foxes and Blackburn Rovers, Banter FC.
Yeah, so why do Man United fans sing 20 times at Old Trafford, not 13 times, since it's the different trophy? Don't be delusional. We got 19 titles.
There we go. Hassam, mark my words, Chelsea will win the league again before Liverpool. Then we want to hear what will be your next excuse.
You know why this is so cute, Terry? Because it literally proves every single word that me and you have said about Chelsea fans. See how impatient they are? They're already talking about winning leagues. My brother, you're at least 3 years away from winning a league title. Hey, and I've still got Salah, I've got Alisson, I've got Trent, I've got Virgil, I've got game winners, Szoboszlai scoring unbelievable free kicks. Come on, man. Man's talk about winning league titles. Winning a League Cup is a successful season for Chelsea.
It's only Arteta outers who defend Pepe. Yeah, and it's typically the same in. I know what someone's stance is on Ten Hag generally by their opinions on certain other players. That's what I like about Staffy. Staffy will defend Sancho, but isn't some weird Ten Hag out guy. Like, that's what I like about him. He's kind of, his opinions are isolated to certain circumstances, but most people, you can tell by their headers or the profile pictures they have. I can tell their opinions ahead of time. It's so predictable. Sam, Klopp is going to be sacked soon. Enjoy your ride. Wow.
That's just Chelsea mentality. Klopp ain't going to get sacked. Please.